Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Yay!
Hey everybody, it's Michael Cologne with Mimosa with Michael, and my special guest this week, I know you as Nick Moss, but it's Nikolay Moss, right? That's your real name?
Yes, Nikolay Moss, also go by Nick, aka Nick. It's very, very confusing, but literally half the people I meet call me Nikolai and half call me Nick, so it's whatever's easy for you.
Well, what do you prefer then? Do you prefer Nick or Nikolay? I'll call you whatever you want.
Yeah, call me Nick. You've been calling me Nick, right? So yeah, just call me.
Yeah, that's how I know you. So everybody, we have Nick Moss here. We have a mutual friend. That's how I found you, my friend Guy Wilson. But I've been following your career for a minute here on Instagram. So you do a lot. I'm just going to start with the big thing, which is I just want to, because it's going to be in the show notes. But you're an Emmy-winning actor. You are the first Emmy-winning actor, I believe, on my show. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Hey, great. Yeah, happy to be here.
And so you won it in 2017 for the show, The Cobblestone Corridor.
Correct.
As Brock Larson. I was looking all this up before we met. I don't want to look like a dummy on the show. But how exciting, you won an Emmy. Like, what's that like?
Oh, it's crazy. It's surreal. And that show, like, we're still very, very proud of. You can actually still stream that right now on pbs.org for free if you want to. And it's
now I have to watch it.
Yeah, now you have to.
Yeah,
it's five about 25-minute episodes. It's about prep boarding school. It's set in a prep boarding school in Connecticut, and basically follows a newspaper club as they solve the school's mysteries. And I play the jock, good old boy from Money that is wreaking havoc. And
I'm not gonna lie, the name Brock Larson definitely sounds like a jock name.
Oh, absolutely.
School. Yeah, without a doubt. But you're originally from Maryland, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was born in Maryland, grew up in Maryland and then Northern Virginia. And I kind of grew up all over the world. My dad worked for the State Department. So I lived in Belarus for 2 years when I was 7 and 8. And then I lived in Warsaw, Poland for 4 years of high school.
Oh, amazing.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then, I went to college at GW, George Washington University in DC.
Yeah.
And then I bounced around since, been in New York, and then now I'm out in LA. So, yeah.
Yeah, the West Coast is better. That's why. And you played piano. I saw that you played the piano. I thought that was the coolest thing because I grew up being a singer and a performer. So when I saw that you played the piano, I was like, "Bam, we have a band already." I love it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, to be honest, I probably need to brush up my skills just because everybody asks me to play piano. They see that I play it and I've got the finger dexterity, but I could play heart and soul. I can't remember anything else. Although I played it for, I learned, for 11 years, I did 8 years of classical and then 3 years of jazz. Jazz was so fun. So I think that maybe helped kind of grow my artistic side a little bit and
that's exciting.
Feed into that without me knowing it. Cause that was before I was even into acting. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, then what got you, then how long have you been acting?
I've been acting since I was about 24, actually. I was never really an actor. Yeah. It's something I found later on. I was a soccer player pretty much my entire life. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
And that's what I went for, 100%. I played in Europe and then I had a, full ride at George Washington University, played soccer there. And then after that, I kept getting hurt. I bounced around for about a year on like little, 2-3 month trials and just kept getting hurt. My body was just basically telling me that I was, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. So, right. Okay. So then how does a soccer player go into an acting? And then how does an actor like that, then you win an Emmy? Like that's kind of a crazy story, I think.
No, it is. Yeah. You couldn't script it because, well, you just never know. You just have to, I don't know. I think my soccer years really helped inform when I started to, every time I try to take on a new task or learn a new skill. Or, you know, this was like a passion. This was, you know, I'm trying to remember the first time I was on stage, and it was just like, oh, where's this been my entire life? This is what I'm supposed to do. And it's funny to find that after so much, you know, when you're like one thing your entire life and then that goes away, there's this huge void and you don't know what to do with yourself, and you kind of feel like a big failure. You're like, wow, that was like, I thought that was what I was supposed to do. So then finding acting was just so great. And then I just kind of, all the discipline that I, you know, kind of was already in me from pursuing soccer so hard, the discipline, the teamwork, all that stuff, it all helps with acting training and just pushing through the failure and push it. I just started going to auditions. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to get myself used to performing. And, you know, I just took every chance I could to perform, and then got into class, and then it just kind of grew from there.
Well, it's kind of like, in a sense, with I knew as a young age, I mean, I started singing at the age of 5, started writing at the age of 10. So I always knew I was going to be artistic.
Oh, that's great.
And I wanted to be a writer. But then about the age of 30, I was like, I was just working in a full-time job, and I was like, I gotta do something different. So that's why I ended up just walking off my job one day and making movies. That's around the time that I met Guy, actually, because we worked on a short film together. And what's interesting is now that I'm a little bit older and I've been doing this a lot longer, like I find myself directing a lot more. And I still write. Like I'm in the middle of writing a script with my writing partner. I write all the time, but I've also been directing a lot, which I never really thought I was going to do. It just kind of set into it because I've been a script supervisor for about 14 years. So it's like after working on so many movies, I kind of just understood the process, and directing became like a natural progression. But like I never sought to be a director. It just was one of those things that happened.
It just kind of happened. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess we're going to explore this road now. And now I'm actually having the best time.
And that's good. That's growth. You know, that's kind of
course,
how it should be, I feel like. And especially for anybody in the creative field, every one of these that we like to put all these boundaries around. All right, writer, all right, director, all right, actor, script supervisor, but it all informs the other. And, you know, knowing this job is really actually going to end up helping you in ways that you can't even predict.
Which I wasn't even prepared for, Well, that's why people like, oh, like, what do you do? And then when I go to networking events or I'm on red carpets and stuff, you know, you always have those slashes. And I was like, so I just, I'm a filmmaker because that's really what I am. You know, I write, I direct, I'm on set, I've helped other people. So it's like, that's my one slash. But then my other slashes is I'm a podcaster, which I do this, and now I've gotten into photography. So kind of overall, I'm just an artist. Yeah. Which is much more fascinating. I've never been an athlete, so it's great that, I don't know if it's just because I grew up a little gay boy in Orange County, or I'm just left-handed, but I could never get into, I tried so hard to get into sports. It was not something I could do. Not for lack of trying. I did like volleyball. I was really good at volleyball, but
I love volleyball.
And bowling, isn't that weird?
Hey, I love sports in general. I mean, like I could spend, I mean, I'm just competitive, I guess, by nature. So I really enjoy, and it's not even really like competitive with other people. Yeah, sure. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're always kind of trying to compete against yourself and get better. And I just think, I guess they always had that, that kind of drive.
I do think that's important in a little bit. I mean, not to be the competitive part, but you always kind of want to be finding ways to push yourself as an artist, because then it's like then you're always plateauing. But if you keep pushing yourself, it's like I'm proud of the stuff that I've worked on. And I look back on it and I go, that's so cool. But it's like I'm not that artist or that guy anymore because I keep pushing myself.
Right.
I suppose it's a give and take. Like I'm probably never going to be happy with anything I do because I always want to keep striving. But then I feel bad because I feel like I'm never happy with anything I've done. Which is an odd statement. I really am happy with everything I've done. But you know what I'm saying? It's like,
oh no, I exactly know what you're saying. And I mean, but that's what keeps you going. That's, you know, that's what keeps you motivated, keeps you interested, keeps you, if you're just doing the same thing over and over again, then this doesn't feed you anymore. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been interesting to try and find, like, going through the pandemic and quarantine of like trying to find ways to stay creative in a environment where you can't be, it's kind of hard, you know, when you're stuck at home. And you like, so I don't know. I think that's why a lot of people started doing TikTok, because they were like, I gotta be creative. I mean, that's why I picked up the podcast again. So I had to find ways to be creative, man. I was going to go insane.
Well, it's just good to have a conversation with somebody in the industry that's kind of might know what you're going through, or at least a little bit. Whereas, you know, friends and family, they might know, but they, you know, they got different lives a lot of times, unless they're in the industry. So,
which I'm the only one in my family that is. So they like hearing the stories. They're just like, oh, my mom's always like, that's nice, son. I'm like, no, because she doesn't really get it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They're just happy that I'm happy. And they like that every once in a while they get to come to set and meet actors. So that's kind of cool. But other than that, it's just like, you're happy? Okay, good. So then there you go. So yeah, it is. That's why I strive to talk to people like you, because you totally get it. You're like, you understand both the highs and the lows.
oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's funny. Yeah. Right now is just interesting because it's, you know, everything's just poof gone. Right. But then I don't know, there's been a lot of interesting, people are still trying to create work. I mean, I'm in pre-production on a short, and I don't want to jinx it, but we're trying to figure out a way to shoot a short during this time with, you know, whatever resources, you know, the resources we have. And it's a very specific story that does work in, you know, in this kind of atmosphere, just the way we're shooting it. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. I've done some, I've never done a lot of, you know, audio drama work, but I just recorded two different roles in audio dramas. One is a rom-com, one's like a thriller. The rom-com's coming out June 1st, so we will see.
Wait, what's that one? Is that the one you've been posting about?
Yeah, that's the one I posted about. It's called Honeymoon for One. It's by a new podcast company called Rom-Com Pods, and they're just going to do rom-coms. And it's a series, so it's dropping June 1st. If you want to hear me sing amazing, and I say that in quotation marks, karaoke, then yes, please tune in, because that was a lot of fun. I've never done that before.
We'll put the link for the show in the show notes. That'll be awesome.
Oh, sweet. Thanks.
Yeah. It's interesting. So my friends and I are in the process of doing this horror web series called Safer at Home, which is sort of like these people are stuck in a pandemic, and then just like it's a thriller. But they're kind of shooting with people that are always with each other, so you can kind of be safe. But now that LA's opened up a bit more, it's a little bit easier, I think. I mean, people are still being distant, but there's less restrictions. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, I had a friend call me the other day, and he goes, hey, look, now that we're opening up, it's like if I had like less than 10 people on a set and we had masks and gloves, would you come direct something? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll tell you. But it's like, we're not just being creative like in front of the camera, we're trying to be creative behind the camera, which is kind of fascinating. So I say that to say that I definitely think you can find a way to shoot your short, because everybody seems to be doing it. So there's definitely ways.
Well, right. And it's interesting. People tend to see constraints and limitations as like a bad thing. And actually, more often than not, you can find that having limitations, having these constraints helps you kind of focus in a way that you wouldn't have had to before. And you're going to get something that you never would have got before. You may not have even sprung to push yourself to do this, but hey, state of everything. We want to be creative. We're trying to look for an outlet, and it's like, it's the perfect time. So, just finding ways to stay creative, create art,
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been busier than I ever have been because, because I've been taking a lot of I'll take like a day trip and I'll go somewhere, and because I've been studying photography, I'll just take my camera and take pictures. And that's kind of nice because I can still frame shots like I would if I was directing, but it kind of helps. I feel like I'm still utilizing my skills, and then
that's really cool.
But I'm also I was hired to write, my writing partner and I were hired to write scripts. So I mean, people are still looking for content. I feel like I'm busier now than I was before we went into quarantine.
Wow, that's great.
I know, it's very interesting. My manager and I talk about that all the time. He's like, you're so busy. I'm like, but that's the thing is I had a bunch of short films and stuff that I was working on, and now people are like, we just need content. Give us your stuff. And it's just like, okay,
right.
It's mind blowing. So I mean, I'm grateful for that. And it's trying to find I think it's just trying to find ways to see the light at the end of the tunnel and still be safe. And I wish more people took this seriously. It's frustrating me that they don't, but
I know.
Scary times.
It's like a global, just, I don't know, state of like, what's going to happen. And that's not a good feeling, but what can kind of alleviate all that, the fear, the nervousness and all that, is just kind of focusing on one project at a time. And if you can find a way to, to just work on something little, it really does help you feel like, okay, I did this, I'm not sitting here screaming with, nothing to do with myself. Like, it helps you get through the bad parts. But also I think it's really funny that, the state of everybody being locked inside and this uncertainty, it's like, I don't know, a lot as an actor, as I know writers, I mean, you're filmmaker in the industry, a lot of times that kind of not knowing the ups and downs that everybody's been experiencing is kind of it's similar to what we experience, on a day-to-day basis anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's really funny because you were like, I don't know what to do with myself. And I was like, it's really weird because there'll be at least a 2 or 3 week period that I'm probably not on set, right? Until you book the next job. It's very rare, but when I'm not filming, I just wake up at 9 and I go sit right in front of my desk and I work on writing or stuff. So like the adjustment period was fine. I was like, no, I'm used to this. This is about the only uncertainty part was I knew that it would be a longer period of time before I find work. Cause usually have work in the distance. So you're like, oh, for 3 weeks, I'm fine. So I think that was the hardest part. It wasn't like trying to find ways to be creative because I already know how to fill my time. It was more like we're literally, for the first couple of weeks, I would just sit there going, wow, we're actually in the middle of a global pandemic. This is stuff I would normally write about, and now we're actually living it. And I think that was like that was probably the part. It wasn't that I needed to find things to do. It was just like, oh shit, if I walk out of my house, it's really unsafe, in a lot of ways. So I think that was probably the hardest part for me, was like really owning the fact that we were in a global pandemic and we had to find ways to be safer.
Right.
So there you go. That was what I was. But I think you're right. It's like we're so used to having like days off a certain amount of time, where it's like everybody goes to work 5 days a week. But, it's like as an actor, you could work 3 days a week and then not work again for 2 weeks a month. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And luckily a lot of us are well equipped to handle how it's going to be, self-taping, in-person castings. It doesn't seem like that's coming back anytime soon, unless something really changes. But a lot of us luckily are, or have been, because that's the trend anyway, have been getting set up for that. So maybe this is a good motivator to figure that out.
Dude, I know it's fun to try and find creative ways to be creative. So, is there a specific role that you haven't played yet that you want to play? Because I know you said you're still fairly new to it.
I love bad guy roles because they're just so fun.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just go for it. But so, I've never done in like a horror film where I just get to go around killing everybody. You know what I mean? I've never done that.
Oh my God, Nikolai, we have to put you in a horror movie.
Oh, we got to do it.
Okay, we're going to do it. Okay, you heard it here first. We're putting you in a horror movie. But I do want to tell you this. I ask every actor I have on the show if they could play any particular character, and they always want to play a bad guy because bad guys are very challenging. Like, it's easy to be the good guy. You just kind of come in and look like you, but like a bad guy, it takes I think it takes a lot of depth and because you're not innately bad. So you have to find those ways to be bad, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very intense.
Yeah, because I'm really a good, perfect person. So it's really difficult. No, I'm just kidding. But what's fun about it is that a lot of times, if you're playing the good guy, you have to be good. Or a lot of times, at least it's written that way, and you have to find ways to kind of question that or deviate, push that boundary. Whereas if you're the bad guy, a lot of times you can just, and it's the exact place you want to be as an actor. It's just you can be spontaneous and just something pops in and you just go for. I mean, it's kind of how you want to be anyway. But I feel like when I'm playing a bad guy, a character that's just not. He's the antagonist. He can really
Yeah.
play with a lot of different things and just finding fun ways to, to intimidate, to mess with the, whoever he's up against. So it's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, we definitely have to get you. Yeah, I didn't know you hadn't done a horror movie. Horror is my favorite genre. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I mostly do horror. People think I'm a horror filmmaker. I mostly do horror. I have directed pretty much everything, but I mostly do horror. And I think horror is just one of my favorite genres anyways, because
I've been noticing that.
yeah. Oh, that I do horror?
Yeah.
It's only because I really don't know why. When I was a kid, I grew up in a haunted house, I think. And so I think I just sort of like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Yeah. That's a
What do
whole.
you mean you grew up in a haunted house? Like,
Yeah,
like a haunted house in Virginia Beach that like you just lived in one of those, or like you mean like an actual haunted house? Like
no, I mean when I was a kid, the house I grew up in just was haunted. We saw things. I used to hear voices. It was terrifying. Yeah.
My God.
Terrifying. Yeah, it was unbelievably terrifying.
Am I gonna hear voices now?
No, I mean I only heard it a couple of times, but it was just like we only lived there until I was about 12, and then we moved to Riverside, and we grew up in a house out there. But that house, we lived on a housing tract, and that house was like. So if this was like the housing tract, it was like the very last house, and it faced away from everybody. So the whole housing tract was behind us, and in front of us was like all orange groves. So we moved to a haunted house from Orange County to Riverside, and it was more terrifying because we were in the middle of nowhere. So it was just like my imagination would run wild. But I remember my sister sleptwalk a lot when she was in the house. She would sleepwalk, and I don't know if you know this, but I have a twin sister. And so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we were really, really close. We would sleep in the same room, in the same bed, because we were kids. And then when I got older, I was like, "No, Mom, I'm a young man now. I gotta have my own room." But she would call me in the middle of the night, like, "Michael!" Like she would scream, and I'd run into her room, and she would just look at me, and then just like lay back down. And I was like, it was crazy. And she would sleepwalk all the time. The house was terrifying. So I think I just kind of like respect horror. But of course, my cousin was a huge horror fan, and we were really close as kids. So I think just because of that, I grew up in horror. But I do like everything. I don't want people to think that. But I do, and I have a lot of horror context, so that's why it's like, everybody's like, "Oh, am I allowed to be on your podcast? It's a horror podcast." I was like, "Mimosas with Michael is not a horror podcast."
Mimosas.
It's just
Killer
like
mimosas.
we should have like horror mimosas.
Yeah, I still remember. I love horror. I love the horror genre. I mean, some movies are better than others, but if you can really, really surprise me, I'm in. Like, I still remember watching the first Saw for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's still one of my best twists when the dead body. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this, but have you seen Saw?
It's been a few years. I think I've seen it. Yeah, I think most people have seen it by now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, but the dead body at the end, he stands up and he walks out. Like, to me, that was like, oh my God, that was so good.
Like, no one was expecting that. Well, so I think Saw was great because it was but I'm not a big fan of the actual franchise itself because I'm not really big on like gross horror because that isn't horror to me. It's horrific. But I like ghost stories. I love slashers. I love thrillers. Really, I think thrillers are fun.
So you liked Haunting of Hill House, right?
I did. I thought it was great.
That was so good.
I thought it was so effing creepy. I mean, my house wasn't that haunted.
It was sad too. It was sad too. It like had all this like heart in there, and like it wasn't just like a scary thing. It was like like you almost felt for the ghosts.
I know.
Oh,
This is great. Well, there's supposed to be there's supposed to be a sequel, right? I believe.
I hope so.
Not a sequel, but like a second season. There should be.
So.
Oh. I can't believe you haven't done a horror. I'm sad now.
I know.
All right, if any of my
I've done thrillers. I've done a lot of comedies. I've done dramas, but no pure horror yet.
Okay,
So.
and you have such a very like all-American look, so I'm surprised you haven't done a lot of any Lifetime stuff or Hallmark. Have you?
Yeah, I know. I've been very close, but hasn't happened yet.
You kind of have that look, so it wouldn't surprise me if like in a couple of years you're like, Michael, I'm doing my first Lifetime. I mean, I've written a few that I'm in the process of selling, so you might even be in one of mine. You never know.
Oh, there we go.
Very small industry. You never know. But they're fun. I mean, people see them and they're such kind of feel-good movies, so there's
a genre there, and there's expectations with that genre, and the more you hit the genre, a lot of times, and just finding a different way into the genre. That's
Well,
kind of like a little bit unique and fresh. That
Well, I think in this sort of age where everybody's kind of like just feeling uncertain and a little uneasy, maybe those kind of movies are great because they're so feel good. You know, they always play great music, and that's my thing.
there's a
Like, I bet they're
familiarity.
very popular right now just because of that. So do you ever do any sports or no?
Oh yeah, I still play. I play soccer all the time. I still love it. It's like kind of my go-to stress reliever. I try to play like 2 or 3 times a week if I can, which means I'm kind of going crazy now.
I can only
But
imagine. Oh man, you're probably going stir crazy.
yeah. Well, I run, but I've got like a home gym I've set up. Like they closed all the gyms, and I literally ordered the last bench from Sears and drove 2 hours to pick it up because otherwise I'd be sitting here for 3 months with nothing to do, just push-ups. So
I have to be honest, I haven't been working out. I'm so ashamed to admit that, but it's okay. But I walk every day just because I get antsy, so I need to like I'll exhaust all my creativity, and I'm like, I gotta get out of this effing house, so I'll just walk around, and I love that. But I need to
even a walk's good.
need to be exercising more. That's okay. I'll get there. Because I was gonna order like weights and stuff, but then right at the beginning of the quarantine, all the weights were you couldn't find anything anywhere.
Right.
And then I just
That's
kind of
because of me. That's because I ordered all of them.
Yeah, you were the one. And then I stopped looking because I was like, well, there's no reason to keep looking, and then I just use that as an excuse to never get back online and look again, I guess. So, but I think. I don't know. I think
Well,
soon.
so do you have a routine? Do you have like a routine to your day, or is it just haphazard? Have you been like sticking to like a schedule, or
Every day around 9:00, I wake up and make coffee, and I sit at my desk. And I mean, here's the thing. Even if I have nothing to write, I'm still like editing photos, or I'll update my website, or I'll email people looking for work, or I'll follow up. I mean, it's just I've always been that way. It's interesting because I'm not very disciplined with workout, which I could be. I'm just very disciplined with my day because when I'm not on set, I have to try and get on set, so it's always been like a hustle, and it's just a habit now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare. In fact, my writing partner one day, my manager and I were talking, and he goes, man, he worries about you. He goes, you never take a day off. And I go, that's probably true. I'm single, so it's probably a little bit easier because I don't have I don't have somebody going, but I will tell you, there will be times that I'll just be like, man, I need to take like a few hours off, and I'll just get in my car and go somewhere. And now that I've been studying, because I took up photography earlier this year, because I was supposed to take a few trips. So I went to Mazatlan for my birthday in February, and then my father and I were supposed to travel to Europe in April for his birthday, and it was his first time traveling to Europe.
Oh man.
I know. I was going to take pictures, but it's okay because we still have the same flight. We just have to push it back. But I'll just go. Like the other day, because I love lighthouses, and I hadn't taken any photos of lighthouses, so I went down to San Pedro and took pictures. And then the other day, I went up to the Poppies up in Lancaster. So I do get out, and I do try to like stay motivated.
Super Bloom or something? Is that going on?
Yeah. You should go as soon as you can because I think it pretty much goes April and May. So
nice.
I don't know how much longer it goes. And right now, we record this ahead of time. I know, so this will probably air in June. But right now, there's also the bioluminescent waves. Have you been to the beach recently?
Okay. So I heard about that, and then I drove along. I was like on Pacific Coast Highway, and this is during the day, so I could see like this reddish tint.
Yeah.
The waves, and then also you roll the window down and it smells really strong. And we kind of like looked up what that was, and it's actually the bioluminescent. That's what that is.
So during the day, it's red. During the day, it's red. Yeah, there's a specific. But at night, you have to go at night. That's kind of cool. I haven't seen the red part of it, but at night, and I did a blog about it because I do a travel blog, and I had a little video. But basically, like they look like they're blue neon. It's like blue neon. So these waves crash over, and it's for the most part they're kind of cool. But then you'll get one that's just like vibrant, like neon blue, and you're like, it's insane how crazy it looks.
That's crazy. That's still going on. Maybe I gotta
I think it's still going on. Yeah, and it goes.
That's cool.
My understanding is I've seen it before, I feel like, but it goes all the way down to like San Diego. Like, so it's all up and down the coast.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I went to Santa
So you
Monica.
have a travel blog. So is there anything you don't do, Michael? If you got
Um,
photography, travel blog.
no, I know I
Or
do.
films.
I actually started acting recently too.
Oh, there you go. How's
Um,
that transitioning into that after doing everything else behind the scenes? Because mine, you know.
I haven't won an Emmy yet, so I don't know. No, it's well, you know, I grew up being an actor. Like I said, I've been performing since I was 5. But when I was growing up, I never wanted to be like, acting wasn't the thing I wanted. Acting was not my thing. It really was writing. But then there was my manager has a client that was doing a movie that we could do safely over social distancing, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And then my friends are doing this web series, and I was like, I'll do a role in it. That's fine, because you need somebody. Right. And even sometimes as a script supervisor, I've been on a movie and they'll be like, we need somebody to play like a cop real quick or something, and I'll just do it. And I've always been like, so I have like all these IMDb credits just because I'm already on set.
That's great.
So I was like, well, I might as well do it. But I really am trying to transition out of script supervising more and really trying to do more writing, directing and stuff. So I'm not an actor. I don't want people to think that like I'm not trying to take roles from people. It's just I love being in front of the camera. I think it's fun. I clearly have no problem talking. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem in front of a crowd of people. I did so well in my communications class. My teacher was like, when she would have students that couldn't figure out how to do their speeches, she's like, go talk to Michael, he'll help you. And I'd have to like help all these. Yeah, I have no problem. You know, I used to be a spoken word artist. I used to be a spoken word artist, so I used to do a lot of poetry and performances when I was first here in LA. Yeah, so yeah, I've had an interesting life in a lot of ways. I mean, I think yours.
I bet that informs the writing. You know, like all of that is great because then you can just use all that when you're writing. I've been recently writing as well.
Good for you.
And I find it great. I find it kind of an amazing outlet that, you know, if you would talk to me, look, if you had talked to me when I was 18 and said I would be acting in, 5 years, I would have laughed you out of the room. And then if you had said that 5 years later I'd be writing, and I just finished a pilot and I've written a short film, I'm writing a feature, and I'm just like, churning it out, and if I would have laughed you out of the room even further, because
Well, I'll tell you, when I was a kid growing up, I used to spend a lot of time when kids would play at recess. I had a clipboard with paper, and I would just sit there and write. And I remember in the 8th grade, we'd watch Gone with the Wind, and one of our assignments was like, we had to write the sequel, like, does Rhett Butler come back, or all this stuff. And the teacher's like, oh, just write like a half a page or a page sequel to Gone with the Wind. And I was like, what's our maximum number of pages? And she's like, it only has to be like a half a page or a page. I was like, yeah, but I have some ideas. So like, how many pages can I write? And she's like, no more than 10. I wrote 8.5. And I would have wrote more. I would have wrote more, but halfway through, I was trying to finish it up. And my friend goes, what are you doing? I go, I got to finish this. He goes, holy shit, there's like 8 pages here. And the teacher goes, you have an A. I don't even care. And I was like, yes. But that's when I wanted to be a novelist, and I wanted to be a playwright. I never wanted to be I take that back. I think subconsciously I wanted to be like a filmmaker, but I never wanted to be like, I definitely didn't have like, my end goal wasn't film. And in 2011, I did have a play produced, which I was never, if you'd have told me like when I was a kid, I had a play. Are you
serious?
Yeah.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. It was
fantastic.
The weirdest thing. I don't know. I never thought it would happen because like, I really wanted to be a novelist. I was like, I'm going to be a novelist. I'm going to write books when I get older. I wrote a book of poetry, but I've never written an actual novel. And now, I mean, in the last like 5 years, I've probably written 10 movies. So it's like, I'm definitely a filmmaker through and through now, all the way. I should have known. I mean, we used to take a lot of road trips as kids, and my parents bought like a video camera. At the time, it was VHS. And I mean, I would make movies with my cousin and his friends and my sister in our backyard. So, I mean, I really should have known I was going to be a filmmaker. I think subconsciously I knew.
Yeah, it's just hard. Like, you don't know, like the stuff you do as kids, and you play around, and you're just having fun. You're just doing it because it's fun. You want to try this, try that. You don't think of it necessarily as like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, unless it's that one thing that you're going for. But like, you just, I don't know. I think that's the great thing about life. It's just different stages, and you can always just find that new passion, or that passion that you're always supposed to find later on. You know, you don't have to have it figured out from the beginning. Most of us don't. The expectation that we have to is also, I think, kind of ridiculous. Like, that's what it's about, finding that. And you find it by trying new things, and you find it by, you know, pushing yourself and growing and all of that stuff. So limiting yourself is just...
Well, I do tell people I didn't find film found me. So it was kind of like, because I literally had no idea. And then, like, it just sort of like intercepted me, and I was like, oh, I guess we're going down this road. And now it's like, I can't imagine doing anything else. Do you know what I'm saying? I love it. I want to do every aspect. And with that said, we actually hit our limit. I just was having so much fun. We could talk all day, but the listeners will be like, okay, stop talking. We get it. So where can people find you? You're really easy to find. You're just like you're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. You're all over Twitter.
I'm on Instagram at Nikolay Moss. So Nikolay Moss. I spell it weird, but I like how it's spelled. Most people spell it with an I. That's the Russian side of my family coming out. And then you can find me on Facebook. Twitter is Nikolay Moss as well. I have a website. I'm on IMDb. I've got a comedy that we shot in New York 2.5 years ago called Double Belgian. It's two guys trying to start a brewery, and we fail so miserably. And that's on VOD.
That one looks awesome. I said you were posting about that. I love it. You were posting about that recently. That's good. We'll have to check that out. And I'll definitely put all of your links and everything in the show notes, so people can just click on it and find you, which would be really easy.
Oh, great. Thanks. That's awesome.
No, it's so much easier because, I mean, it's great to say it, but it's also like at the end, you just click on it and follow you. It'll be easy. You guys, please follow Nikolai. Please reach out. Watch all of his movies. As you can see, he's very fascinating. I had no idea because we never really talked before. So you're very fascinating. And we're definitely have to put you in a horror movie. But you want to be the killer.
You're fascinating too, man. You got me beat on like different skill. Like I need to... I don't know. I need to up my game here.
It's only because I'm older. You'll be there, I promise. Hey, I haven't won an Emmy yet, so when I have an Emmy, then we can be equals. No, I'm just kidding.
We can joust with them.
Yeah,
that'd
be cool.
Yeah.
Well, then we both have to win an Oscar, so we just have to keep upping our game.
Oh, right, totally.
And then we'll have to get an EGOT. That's really what we have. That's our end goal, EGOTs.
Oh my gosh. Look, I'm just really happy about that show, and it really turned out so well because, I don't know, every single person we had on it just did a really amazing job. And,
that's amazing, man.
You don't get the kind of quality we got without that kind of team effort.
Yeah.
The writing was fantastic. I mean, we run the writer was also the executive producer and director, and he won an Emmy for writing and an Emmy for directing. So you could see how, I don't know, the quality on that project was, amazing. Now
I feel guilty that I haven't seen it, so I'm definitely going to watch it. So we'll have something else to talk about. Dude, please keep in touch. We're definitely going to talk more because we have a lot to, I think, talk about away from the show. But with that, everybody, Nikolay Moss, thank you so much for being on the show. It goes so fast, and I actually let this show go longer because this is such a great conversation. So,
I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me,
dude. Thank you so much. We'll have to have Guy on the show now.
Yes, you have to.
I've been trying.
We'll get Guy on and bring me in or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I don't know if you do multiple.
Heck yeah, I'm open to any reason. If any reason to talk to cool people, I'm down. You can never ever. Yeah, I'm open to it. Anyways, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and we're also at mimosaswithmichael.com. Thank you so much, Nick. It was a pleasure. Have a great day.